Hi, and welcome to another AppleTV tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be covering the iTunes application. I'll begin by briefly explaining what iTunes is, and then I'll cover the user interface, and then I'll discuss importing CDs, and then I'll show you the home sharing function, and then lastly, I'll cover some handy tips and tricks. iTunes is how you play all your media on your Mac or PC and add it to your iPhone, iPad, iPod, or Apple TV. It's a great digital media management application which is completely free for both the Mac and PC. iTunes has a similar interface to most Apple applications. You have the toolbar on the top, which has playback buttons, a volume slider, an information bar which displays information on the currently playing back file. Then we have some view options. We have list view, we have album list view, we have grid view, and we have cover flow view. Then we have the search bar, which we can use to search for any media in a library. And then for those of you who have opened iTunes for the first time, you've probably noticed what's referred to as the iTunes sidebar on the right. And this gives you access to Genius recommendations, as well as ping service, both of which you have to enable before you'll be able to use it. So I don't use either of them, so I can just hide it from the bottom right-hand corner just by clicking on this button. Then on the left, we have the usual sidebar that we find in most Apple applications, where we can navigate a library according to the different types of media we have. We can also access the iTunes Store to purchase music, movies and TV shows, as well as iOS apps and eBooks. Then we have home sharing. Now, home sharing is a feature that we can use to make sure that all the Macs on our home network are in sync. So if I purchase a movie or if I purchase music on one Mac, home sharing will automatically copy it to all the other Macs on my network that I've enabled for it. We'll cover this a little bit later in the tutorial. Then we have Genius. And Genius basically will scan your library if you enable it, and it will give you back recommendations based on the music that you currently have to try and help you discover new music that you might like. Once you've enabled Genius, you will also get the option to use Genius mixes. And basically Genius will scan your library and create different mixes for you based on the different genres of music that you have. And then lastly, we have our standard playlist that we can create and delete as we please. Before you begin importing all your media off your CDs into your iTunes library, it's important that you set some settings in your iTunes preferences that will determine the quality of your files once you import them. So let's open up the iTunes preferences by selecting the iTunes name in the menu bar and then selecting preferences. Now, before we continue, you will notice that there are many options available to you within the iTunes preferences. Rather than just walk you through them all step by step, I will touch on the relevant sections within preferences as we discuss different topics in this tutorial. That way we will cover the options that are relevant in context to how they are used. There are also some options within iTunes that you will never need to use, and so I will not be going through those in this tutorial. However, if there are any options that I do not cover in this tutorial that you have questions about, please feel free to contact me using the contact form on our website or using our forums on the website. The first option that you should set is your import settings. These settings will determine the quality that iTunes will import all your CDs at. Now, encoding of music files and video files for that matter can get quite complicated and in-depth, and most people are not interested in learning the finer details of digital media encoding. For that reason, I will make some suggestions of what I believe the best settings are depending on your needs. If you already know a lot about audio encoding, then feel free to choose the settings that best suit you. So let's click on Import Settings. The first major decision you will need to make is what file format you want your files in. And that's chosen here under Import Using. I'm going to make two suggestions here. If you use primarily Apple products to play your digital media, such as iTunes on your Mac or PC, or you use iOS device like iPhone, then I definitely recommend using the AAC encoder. This encoder offers excellent quality and compression ratio. What that basically means is that it'll keep your files small, but the playback quality good. The other file type I would recommend is MP3. I recommend using this format for those of you who use other media playback devices that don't support AAC. Most devices give a list of supported file formats, so if you have hardware that doesn't support AAC, I can almost guarantee it will support MP3. MP3 is a widely supported encoder. I personally prefer AAC over MP3 because I believe it offers better quality for the same file size. Then the next decision you'll need to make is what bitrate you want your files in. And this is found under the setting for your import settings. The best way I can explain what the bitrate is to think of a pipe. If you increase the diameter of a pipe, then more water can flow through it at any given moment. The bitrate of audio files is the same. If you choose 128 kilobits per second, then when your files are converted by iTunes, iTunes will throw away information from the audio file until it can fit it all into the 128 kilobit pipe. If you choose iTunes Plus, which as you can see here is 256 kilobits per second, then iTunes can keep more information for the audio file because the pipe is bigger. So that's basically what compression does. That's what your bitrate stands for. The higher the bitrate, the bigger the pipe, and therefore the more information that can be played back at any given moment. I would always recommend using the iTunes Plus setting for AAC, which is set at 256, because it offers noticeably better audio quality. If you use the MP3 encoder, I would recommend using the higher quality 192 kilobits per second. So once you have chosen the one that you think best suits your needs, you can just click OK. Then another little handy option that we have is what iTunes should do when you insert a CD. You can tell iTunes to just show the CD in the iTunes window. You can tell it to automatically begin playing it. So if you often listen to CDs on your computer, that just by putting them in your drive, but you don't want to import them, you can tell it to just begin playing the CD. Or you can ask it to import the CD by default. Or you can tell it to just immediately start importing the CD. Or you can tell it to import the CD and eject it when it's done. This is quite a handy option if you plan on importing a lot of CDs. You can just choose your import settings and then tell it to import CD and eject. And then you can just work and just put your CD in your Mac and it'll immediately start importing. When it's done, it'll eject it, and then you know it's done. You just take the CD out, put in another one, and basically it'll automate the import process. So that's quite a nice handy option. So you can choose the option that you prefer and click OK. And now you're ready to begin importing CDs. Apple have recently added a new feature to iTunes, which is really handy for people who manage multiple Macs within their household. And that feature is called home sharing. And basically what it enables you to do is to sync all your iTunes libraries across all your Macs over your Wi-Fi network or LAN and keep different media in sync. So basically, if I make some purchases in this library, or if I add some movies and music from CDs, I can use home sharing to automatically copy that new media to the other Macs on my house network, my home Wi-Fi network. And it's very simple to set up. And basically all you need to do is in iTunes, you go across to Advanced at the top in the menu bar, and you go to Turn on Home Sharing. So I'll just select that. And then I'm just going to fill in my password, my iTunes account, and then create home share. And then you'll see it says home sharing is now on. Use the same account when turning on home sharing for your other computers. They will then appear below the shared in the iTunes window. Home sharing is for personal use. So basically, once you enable home sharing on more than one Mac, then you'll be able to link to that Mac in your shared column in iTunes. And as you can see, I've shared my iMac library previously by enabling home sharing on my iMac. So I went to my iMacs library and I did just what I showed you now. And now I enabled iMac on this, I enabled home sharing on this account, and it automatically picked up that I have another iTunes library with home sharing enabled. And so basically what I can do now is I can select that library under shared, and you'll see that it loads it. And now I can browse all the media that's in that iTunes library, and I can import any media that I want to this iTunes library. And I can also choose at the bottom to show either all items in this library or only items that are not in my library. So as you can see, all items, I have 5,323. Items not in my library, I have 4,921. So there already are some of the things in my iTunes library. Under music, as you can see, I have some albums. And what you can also do is you can expand this shared library, and I can browse just certain media. So I can browse just music or just movies or just TV shows, etc. And then under settings, basically, you can tell your home sharing that you want to automatically transfer new purchases from this iMac library to your library, and you can choose which type of purchases. So if I select apps, then anytime a new app is added to my iMac library, it'll automatically transfer to this library. And the same goes for books, TV shows, movies, and music. So you can decide whether or not you want certain media to be automatically synced, or if you would prefer to just manually do it yourself. So just to show you the manual way, I'll just cancel that. I'm going to go to apps, and I'm going to select a couple apps. So as you can, let's first go to my library. You can see I have no apps in my iTunes. But in the iMac iTunes, I have a lot of apps. So I'm just going to say, I'll just choose a couple, whatever they are, it doesn't really matter. And I'll say import. And immediately you see it starts copying. And it's already copied 2 of 3. It's busy on the third one. So if I go to apps, you'll see that 2 apps have already been copied, and the third one is busy copying. And as you can see, that's why you have to use the same iTunes Store account when enabling home sharing to be able to share it across your Macs, because you have to be able to own the purchased content. So that's just a brief explanation of home sharing. It's a very simple feature, but as you can see, it's really handy. It's quick because you're copying it over your Wi-Fi or your LAN if you have LAN. And it's just a nice way of keeping different Macs in sync with each other.